Hello everyone! Welcome back. Today we've got some really beautiful stuff that we're going to be cooking up. I'm going to make a really beautiful, super creamy, super rich, lush seafood mac and cheese using this really outstanding Bristol Bay Alaskan King Crab. This is some of the most beautiful stuff in the world, and we're going to use it to make mac and cheese, one of everybody's favorite dishes. So you could do this a lot of different ways. In fact, today in the newsletter, if you get our newsletter, we shared out a recipe for a lobster mac and cheese, which is basically just this, but instead of the lobster, I'm switching out crab today because I had a lot of this beautiful crab left over from last night's sushi class, which went really awesome, so thanks everybody who came out for that. We do have more classes coming up on the way with some openings, so if you're not registered yet, definitely check those out. You can go to coastalseafoods.com. We've got the full list of classes up there for you to take. But with the upcoming holiday, Valentine's Day, this Friday, figured it'd be a great idea to kind of show off one of my favorite recipes, and this is perfect for Valentine's Day. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with a couple tablespoons of butter, because butter is beautiful and necessary for a really rich, beautiful mac and cheese. So I got the butter in the pan, and I've got some minced shallot here that I just chopped up a little bit earlier. I'm going to throw that in with it, and I'm going to kind of just let this start going. And I want those shallots to just start cooking. We're not looking to try to get color on them or anything like that. Just want to take a little bit of that raw edge off and develop some of that sweetness. Again, this is going to be really nice, really beautiful. And while this starts to do its thing, oh, hold on, I lost my flame a little bit. Well, let's do this back here then. And we'll get this going this way. Be a little bit difficult to see, but let's see if I can figure out what's going on with my burner here. I must be just out of fuel. That's fine. Set this off to the side. And I've got this butter working now. It's starting to melt nicely, which is what we want. And I'm already starting to smell those shallots, which is good. Let me come to this side so Instagram can see me. So I've got everything starting to work. Show you here, I've got my melted butter and my shallots going. Getting that all nice and super creamy, which is what I want. And now that my butter's melted, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in about an equal amount of flour. So about 2 tablespoons of flour to this. And I'm going to make what's called a roux. And this is going to help thicken our mac and cheese. So I'm going to stir the flour into the butter, and it makes kind of this nice little paste, which is what we're looking for here. And I'm going to let it cook for about a minute, because flour, when raw, tends to add that flavor into things, and we want to toast it off a little bit. So you can see here, I've got my roux working. It's gotten kind of nice and thick, and this is how we're going to get it to be really nice and smooth. This is how our cold cream that we're going to use is going to kind of be able to accept all of that flour to thicken. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some cream, and I'm going to just stir and work that roux into that cream. And what it's going to do is once that cream starts coming to temperature, it's going to thicken. And it's going to turn nice and very luxurious, and it'll be able to accept that cream. And it's already starting to thicken quite a bit. I'll show you here what I'm looking at. So we've got this nice, really thick cream base. It's accepted all of the roux, which again is how it's getting nice and thick here. So I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more cream to kind of thin it out and get it to the consistency that we want. And when we add our cheese, it's going to thicken up even more. So you want to kind of work the cream in batches is generally what I like to do, in order to make sure that everything kind of works in nicely, and then we don't wind up with something overly thick or too thin. Because again, I want this to be pretty luxurious. And again, it's looking pretty nice here so far. And we're getting to a pretty good texture here. Now, roux isn't ever going to really fully thicken until it comes up to a simmer. So you want to watch, especially since we're working with cream. You don't want it to get too hot. You don't want to scorch it. But we've got a very nice consistency here. So now, what I'm going to do to help kind of bolster this up a little bit is I'm going to start adding in my cheese. This is just a Colby Jack cheese, something pretty simple, but it melts very nicely, which is going to go good here. You could do this with a cheddar cheese for sure. I like to make sure if I'm doing a cheese like that I do finely shredded. It tends to work a little bit better into the sauce. And we are coming together very nicely, getting a nice cheese sauce kind of consistency here. You can see, you get that nice stretch. This is what I want. It's turning out very, very, very beautiful. Got those shallots in there again for just a little bit of sweetness. That cheese is melting into this cream. It's becoming nice and thick. Again, super luxurious. This is a holiday dish, so we're not counting calories here, hopefully. But you also don't want it to be so stodgy that it weighs you down. So again, we're looking pretty nice here. You can see really rich, very, very decadent. I'm gonna add some more cream to this. Just sort of thin it out a bit more. And just kind of keep working it. You also don't want it to get too hot, especially if you're using cheese like cheddar, something like that, because if it gets too hot, the cheese will split and the oils will separate out, and then you kind of wind up with a grainy mess. So again, you want to be very careful there. We are doing pretty good here. A little bit more cream. Again, I'm just kind of slowly working it, letting it all come together. Again, I don't want to rush this too much. So there we go. There we go. It's coming together very, 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 very nicely. It's going to be super gooey and super good. Looking forward to this. All right, so I got my cream worked in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and season it with a bit of salt. I'm also going to add in a little bit of some hot sauce here, just to give it a little bit of warmth and depth, and a little bit of acidity. That would be optional, obviously. All right, so we're good there. So again, I got this nice, beautiful, rich cheese sauce. Again, exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little bit of a taste, make sure we're where I want to be. I cannot stress to you how amazing that tastes. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my pasta. Now I just pre-cooked off some pasta a little bit ago. You can use your classic macaroni shape for this if you want to. I'm just using penne. Penne is what we got here in the shop, so it's easy for me to just sort of grab. I'm going to go ahead and just work this pasta into this cheese sauce. You can see it's super nice, super rich. Absolutely beautiful mac and cheese. Now what I'm going to do to take this up to the next level is I'm going to add in some of this really nice king crab that I've got here. Just going to kind of break up any pieces that are super big. But again, we want to know there's crab in here. Absolutely. Again, we don't want it to be a mystery. Now, again, this recipe was written with lobster in mind, and you could certainly throw in some lobster at this point. You'd want to use pre-cooked lobster and just warm it through. That's all we're looking to do with the seafood, is just kind of warm it through in the sauce. It's getting just this beautiful, nice, gooey consistency. Just fantastic. We'll break up this last piece. Get it in there. Just absolutely divine. Okay. You want to see that crab. All right. So we got us a really beautiful mac and cheese. So I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and plate some of this up here for y'all. There we go. Get that in the shot. Let's see how just creamy and lush this is. This is for all you mac and cheese lovers out there, all you seafood lovers. This is the stuff. Now, as far as cheeses, again, going back to that, you could use a lot of different cheeses here. You could use nuttier cheeses like a Fontina or Gruyere. Those are pretty classic with like a seafood style pasta dish like this. So let's go ahead and show you what we're looking at. So again, super creamy, full of crab meat, absolutely beautiful. Just tell me you don't want to eat that. And as you'll notice, it did not take much longer to make than your regular box mac and cheese, but this is the stuff right here. This is so much better, so much more rich, and perfect for Valentine's Day. So definitely consider making this. Again, my basic recipe went out in today's newsletter. It's also on coastalseafoods.com, so check that out. Thanks to everybody who came out for our swordfish cutting demo last weekend. Another big success. Is really great. We will be doing more of those coming up, and we'll let you know, obviously, when that comes around. Otherwise, if you're getting ready for the Valentine's Day holiday, get your pre-orders in now. If you're looking for live lobsters, things like that, definitely call in, place those orders so we can have that stuff available for you. Otherwise, we'll have the crab. We always have tons of crab, but it's, again, still good to place an order if you can. All your shrimp, your scallops. We're going to have a great selection of oysters available this weekend, as always. Super cool. And we've also got our house-made mignonettes to go with those oysters. So if you're looking for that, you can just pick it up. Very easy, very simple. We've got two varieties. We've actually got a classic, just vinegar. And then we've got a really nice shoyu mignonette, which has kind of a nice smoky flavor to it, a little bit of a more earthiness. Goes really nice with some of those briny East Coasts, but even better with some of those rich West Coasts. So very, very good. Definitely check that out. And again, call ahead, place your orders if you can. Just makes it easier. Make sure that we have what you need. Crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters. Beautiful. Yeah. So definitely check that out. Check out our classes if you haven't yet. Register for our newsletter if you haven't yet. And watch our social for any upcoming events. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, things like that, hit us up. You can get at me directly through Facebook or through Instagram. Just send me a direct message. Be happy to answer any of those questions for you or help you find whatever you're looking for. Otherwise, we will talk to you all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all soon.